Did I make the wrong move or something? You really start being hard on yourself, and then you start going into this depressed mode, and you be waiting on them to call you, and you keep trying to pursue them by texting and calling. And listen, don't tell me that ain't nobody went through that before. I know not everybody's been through that, but I certainly went through it. I went through that phase of having a guy that was in my life where the relationship was hot one minute and then it was cold the next minute. Seemed like every time I would get close to this guy, he would pull back. He was liking me, but he wasn't allowing himself to fully love me. He would dip and dab in the love, but he didn't want the full experience of the love because he was afraid that he was going to get hurt. So anytime that you have relationships like this where they're cold and hot and games are being played like that, you really have to take it for what it is and look at your partner and get direct with them, because in the long run what happens is you go through all these mind things and emotional spirals and roller coasters are going up and down, and all this time you're thinking it's you, and then you're making excuses for them by saying maybe they're busy, maybe they're at work, or, maybe something happened, the reason why they can't get back in contact with me. But the truth is, in this day and age, dating is nowhere like it used to be. I would say not even 8 years ago. 8 years ago, you could get a pretty decent date, not too many online dating sites was out back then. I think you had the phone calls more than anything, like Love Links and all that, live links, where you could call in and, talk to a few people, find who you like and maybe meet up. But now we have so many opportunities out here to meet different people, till those who do experience hurt in a relationship, they don't really look for commitment. They just look for someone that they can control. They just want to control the love part of it. They're not really looking to commit, but they're enjoying what's going on. But they want to give you just enough to keep you hanging on. Just enough to keep you hanging on, which isn't good for you when it comes down to your health and your mental being. Your mental well-being is so important to really think about whenever you get into this type of relationship, or should I say running ship. So knowledge is power, and like I said, modern dating is tricky, but once we have the ability to see hot for hot and cold for what it is, we're less likely to suffer its negative effects. Understanding the type of behavior is crucial, even for those of you that are committed to not playing games. I mean, you got to understand, this is what hot and cold relationships do. Flee and they follow. That's the mindset of the person who's playing you like a yo-yo, up and down, hot and cold. Flee and they follow. Follow and they flee. So that's how that is. So this is the core of how, at the time your partner is thinking, the one that's initiating that hot and cold service. And this is because relationships need stability. And you can't get stability with someone who is playing with you like that. And so the response is to automatically pull away. And that's what your partner do. Your partner will pull away once they start to feeling that stability, because they're not used to it. It's kind of like whenever they say a woman ain't used to, some women out here aren't used to good men. And that's the truth. They're not used to it. As soon as they get in there, find a good man, they start doing things to sabotage it. Say if a man was to come up and this man, he's like everything you really want. He's got a nice paying job. He's got manners. He's got a nice home. He's not trying to get you in the bed or anything. But because you've been hurt so many times before in your past, as soon as this man starts offering you this stuff, you pull away from it, because you don't want to be vulnerable to love anymore. You don't want to feel that pain of getting hurt again and, just having to go through the phase again or starting over. You don't want to feel that. So a lot of times you'll pull back some and start talking to other people to, disconnect basically. disconnect. And once you disconnect from somebody, guess what? You're hurting the other person's confidence, really, because like I said, that activates a loss in them. Whenever you play hot and cold with someone's emotions, it activates a loss, and it makes them yearn for you, and it's just like they're sitting around waiting on you, like their life is dependent on you to really come through and call and text them and, baby them up. They're trying to chase a feeling, the hot feeling that you at first gave them, and now you yanked it away. You took it away. So they have already submitted to you emotionally, but you're not being emotionally attached. So that hot and cold cycle, it can repeat for years and years. It can repeat. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I think that's part of the reason that my relationship in the past, the long term, when the one that was 15 years, I think that's why it messed up, because every time I got close to that guy and I thought we was finna have a future, he pulled back out. And I didn't recognize these signs until now. So he would pull back out, which would leave me feeling like, what did I do wrong? So whenever he would come back, I would be like wide open, like, yes, he's back. I got him. I knew he loved me. But, honestly, when you look at it, that's not really love right there. That's a form of torture. Because whenever you're loving somebody, you don't disconnect just like that, just because you know that you can disconnect and come back. That's not fair to the other person. So ladies and gentlemen, be careful of these games that play hot and cold. If they're running in and out of your life during holidays, if they're running in and out of your life during arguments or starting up arguments so that they can stay away for a few weeks or something like that, you better pay attention to it, because each time they run in and out of your life, if they're not meaning you any good, it's messing with your emotional being. And it's going to cause you to become disconnected from people who really do love you. There is someone out there who really will love you for who you are. Even if you got little nappy dreads or something, they will love you for who you are. Even if you're 600 pounds, they will love you for who you are. Because God has someone out here for all of us. So don't allow yourself to become a victim of someone who does not know who they are. The problem isn't you. The problem is they don't know who they are, because they've been hurt before and they didn't never deal with it. So they want to keep this cycle on repeat. On repeat. Each time you turn around, they're going to always be running out of your life when you get too close. And that's not a good thing. And you just about can predict now whenever they're getting ready to do it. You can predict it because it's done happened so many times. So automatically if you're promised a date and that date doesn't fall through, you already knew it wasn't going to fall through. You already knew he wasn't going to text you back, or she wasn't going to text you back, because it was a pattern. It's a pattern that this person has already been set up, a cycle that they can fall back on to assure that they don't get connected or attached to you the way you are to them. So they play that game. I'll leave and they'll follow. They love, it's an ego boost thing too, by the way. So they love it whenever you chase them down like that. They feel like, oh man, I got it. I'm still good, And the thing about it is too, I just want to tell y'all out there that's listening, it's nothing that you can really do to anybody to make them disconnect from you if they really want to be with you. You hear that? If they really want to be with you, they won't disconnect from you. If it's fear that they're dealing with, the fear of love, at some point, it's going to come out that they're going to tell you some kind of way that I'm just scared. So what I recommend you to do in a case like this, where you're dealing with hot and cold and that partner can't make up his mind what he want to do, and you already know the root cause of it is because they was in a bad relationship before, and now they're doing anything to keep their ego boosted so that they don't feel as scared, or they don't feel like they have to give you 100% of them. That's why they're doing it. So the thing I would recommend that you do is get with your partner, sit down and talk with them and ask them to be direct with you. Tell them to be direct with you. Let them know what it's doing to you. Because the truth is, each time they do it, they gain that much more power over you. And you fall for it every time. You fall for it every time. And the more they do it, the more you allow it, first of all, the more that cycle keeps going around and round and round. And all your power and strength is leaving because you're spending your energy and time trying to figure out, what do I do next? Where did I go wrong? What can I say to make him feel better or her feel better? Well, there's nothing you can say to them. But one thing you can do for yourself is give yourself the gift of walking clean out of there. If you can't fix somebody's confidence, if that person you with, if their confidence is low, that's on them. There's nothing you can say or do to fix anybody's confidence. So I recommend that you pray about it. And if it continues to happen, just leave. Because that's going to be the only answer, is to cut your losses and walk away. Your time could be better spent with someone who is capable of honesty and loving you and capable of being emotionally invested in you and have consistent good behavior with you that will not leave you. Will not leave you. There are people out here who will not leave you. So find out what your partner is really thinking. And you know, if you've been doing this now for a while, 5-6 years, if you've been doing this over a year, you better cut it. You better get to the point of it, the bottom of it, ASAP, because you don't want to go 15 years like I went. I went 15 years, and the emotional torture that comes with that is hard to get over. I'm not going to lie. It's hard to get over. So you don't want to spend the rest of your years and your time and energy worrying if somebody's going to love you. Just trust God for your love. All right. So I'm going to play this song right here for you, since Relationship 411 is all about being broken because somebody's playing hot and cold on you. I'm going to play this song by Makeda Settles, Broken. I always love this song right here in the Midnight Love Garden. It always seems to come through right on time. Amen. All right. You're listening to UGA Gospel Storm, Midnight Love Garden, and also DWJJ Philippines FM Teleradio with Miss Coco Bowden right here on iHeartRadio.
To somebody pick up the